Hi, today's my first day doing my 5K. I'm going to attempt to walk at least 0.4 miles today. And before I actually go on my walk, I'm going to do a little bit of breath work and I guess a pre-walk, pre-run warm-up. Ideally, when I'm running, I like to breathe down below, diaphragmatic breathing. So I'm just going to get my breath warmed up, breathing into the belly, into the sides, and also into the lower back. If you're running or walking, you can try to sync your breath to the pace that you're doing. I remember when I was running a year ago, I would do about a maybe 2 or 3 step inhalation and a 2-step exhalation. So depending on what foot is landing first, I'll go through that cycle and that rhythm and then switch it up every now and then. I think when I started to find my breathing more effectively, I actually started enjoying running. So we're going to do that. Diaphragmatic breathing requires you to breathe down to your belly. It's really calming for your nervous system and also really helps strengthen up your diaphragm and your core muscles too while you're running and walking. So let's begin here. Go ahead and take a seat, any seat in a chair on the ground, and center yourself, align your skull, retract your chin back, and close your eyes for a moment to get connected into the present moment. And notice how you're feeling. Notice what your breath is doing. And then we'll slowly take an inhale into the front of your belly. You can put your hand there. And just try to expand the belly, protrude it outward. And feeling the exhale, the belly retracting back. There's a few of those. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, deflating the belly. And then also take your hands to your sides. See if your breath can reach here, the side of your body as you're breathing. And when that happens here, your belly may not protrude as much, but you can feel your side waist expanding or receiving the breath, a sensation of movement. And then put your hand on your lower back area so you can get the breath to the back side here. And if you have challenges getting the breath in any of these positions, just spend a few extra time. Sometimes it's all that's needed is that brain connection to your body. And once you feel all that here, you can start breathing 360 degrees, meaning the breath is going to reach front, sides, and back to support your spinal column, your whole body, actually your core, as you're moving through your motions. So you can start here with one hand on the belly, one hand on the back, and see if the breath can reach front and back. And you can also try the front and the right side. And the front and the left side. And then a 360 degree breath all around. You might close your eyes here so you can just visualize the breath and also get in tune with the final subtle movements of the breath going in 360 degrees. And spend as much time there as you need. And notice how calming and grounding it is when you breathe like that. And then the warm-up that I like to do before I run is pretty dynamic. I don't do any long holds or static stretches. I'll do that after the run. But since I can't move as much dynamically, usually I'll do like, a little like brisk jog in place or bringing the knee up high. You can do some touches like this to really get your psoas muscle ready to go and contracting. I like to do some hip circles and stuff, but I'm going to start on the feet. So if you have like a tennis ball or this yoga tune-up ball here, just rolling out your feet is going to get you a little more in tune with the contact point of your feet against the ground, because how you land on the ground and how you move your lower extremities is going to affect how you feel up top and how efficient you're going to be in your run. So just try to roll the ball across your digits, trying to open up those toes because they're going to get crammed into the shoe. And then also do the vertical line from the big toe all the way to the heel. And try to get all those digits across the whole bottom of your foot. And then just some circles here. And my feet is so sore. And the heel as well. And then after you do that first side, just stand for a moment and feel how it feels from the other side. It's amazing how a little bit of rolling can kind of open up your feet and wake them up. And here you can practice your diaphragmatic breathing here while you're rolling, so you don't get your breath all excited up here up top, where it can create a lot of tension in your chest. Okay. And then if you can pick up one foot, if you're like me, you need to hold on to something, just make sure you do so. Point and flex your foot, give it some circles, make it dynamic, keep it moving, and bend and straighten your knee. So the knee can also rotate, so it doesn't just bend and extend. And part of good mechanics is to make sure all the joints move. So what you can do is bend your knee, turn your foot outward, so that's going to rotate your knee slightly externally, but you want to keep your hip intact, and then straighten your knee, extend it in that position. At full extension, you want to turn your foot in, try to rotate your shin or your tibia in, and then bend that knee, and then do that a few times, rotating the foot outward, extending, rotating the foot inward, and flexing, and then vice versa. Just get those joints ready to go. Whew, that's tiring for me. And then moving up the chain here into that left hip, stand with your right leg bent, and just kind of draw a circle with your knee here to get that hip joint moving, and then going the opposite. And then if you're able to, put a little more weight on your standing leg, lift this right knee all the way up. And we're really going to hold on to this chair. Flex your foot, take your knee out to the side. You want to keep your pelvis, your body facing forward. So we're going to do some hip rotations here, articulating this left hip. At the maximum abduction here, rotate your foot back so your hip's going to turn in, and then kick your foot back, so extending. This is super important here to squeeze your buttock, your glutes, activate it. Hip extension is the power of where you're going to get your run or your walk from. And then bringing it up again, flexing the hip, taking it outwards, rotating it, pushing it back. You can do a few of those. And my standing leg is like gonna give out right now, so I'm done. Whew. I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, so let's start with your foot out, just gentle circles, just feel how it is, especially if you're one of the sisters who have cysts in your spine. And it also just feels good too if you don't have any cyst in your body. Go in the opposite. Okay, lifting up your right knee, right leg, go ahead and circle the ankle. You can imagine your big toe moving clockwise and counterclockwise. Try to hit all the hours of the clock and really get your ankle articulating. Okay, and then bend that knee, squeeze, turn your foot out, straighten your knee, turn your foot in, and flex your knee. Getting the knee to move in all those possible directions, and then going the opposite way. Okay, take a rest for a moment. And let's do the right hip a little bit more, if you can manage standing on your left side. Lift this right knee up, flex the hip, and abduct, move the knee away from you, open it, rotate your foot back, and then kick the heel back towards your hip. Squeeze your right buttock here as you're extending the hip. And then again, up, out, rotate, push back. And you can see here, like, I have minimal hip extension. I've lost so much of it from atrophy, and it's only been, this is the third week. So I'm gonna have to work extra hard to really regain that mobility back in my hips. And this is one of the ways to really keep movement happening so that you don't lose any more mobility as you become immobile or you can't do all the activities that you normally can. Okay, and then just a quick step lunge, again, making it dynamic. So the hip flexors stretch out and they also start to contract and are more springy for you when you're gonna run, walk. And then after the run, I'll have another video for like a post-run, post-walk stretch for you guys. And if you're able to do this with like swift movements, jump, you can just do jump switches like that. Obviously I can't. So here we are. All right. And then oftentimes what gets overlooked is the upper body when you're running, especially if you're not aware of how you're running and how you're landing. The upper body can be like a shock absorber, and there can be some not so good like movement pattern in your upper body. So let's just kind of roll those shoulders, keeping the spine tall, your head upright, roll it the other way, and we're just gonna roll it in whatever way feels good right now. Take the arm up, swing it open, big windmill. Going the opposite. And then other side. And sometimes as you run or walk, you might carry a lot of stress or tension up top as you're struggling to make the last few steps or the last few miles. So just getting aware and tucking your chin in, give your neck a roll. Good. And then if you can do some standing cat and cows, just get the spine flexing. You can put your hands on your knees like this and then do that. I'm going to put my hands on my chair because I can't go down that far. So just hands about shoulder width, feet about hip width. Inhale, pull the chest through, looking up, extending the upper back. Exhale, tucking your chin in. Push into your knees, your legs, your chair, rounding that upper back. And if you can, tuck that tailbone, go all the way down to that lower back. Breathe in, coming up. Breathe out, curling. A few more. And as you get prepared for your own run, walk, hike, spend as much time as you need in any of these areas. Okay. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you afterwards.